Parkva really sprung out of a conversation I had in my previous life with a customer that was explaining how these new security cameras use a thing called video analytics to capture events going on without anyone really watching the monitors. And I coupled that with my observation of what was going on in some of the parking lots in and around the city of Chicago, and I thought, why couldn't I apply video analytics used in the security industry towards solving some of the parking problems, whether it's parking occupancy or parking violations. We want to help make parking operate as it was intended. So whether it's a downtown metro market here in Lake Forest, it'll help drive compliance so that people park the way they're supposed to. Also in our private sector, part of the business, tenants that rely on very limited parking space, their business can make or break it based on how many parking spaces are available during their lunch rush hours. So we help drive compliance with the parking lots there. And so our goal is really just to make parking work the way it was intended. I spent most of my career in telecommunications. The first half was in wired line communications, and then later, as wireless became a big thing, spent it in wireless communications with Motorola and some of the other leading wireless communication companies. For me, this is, I think, my third or fourth business. It's always about when I see an opportunity, I can't ignore it. And so when I saw the opportunity to connect the video analytics used in security with this problem of parking, which we definitely validated with municipalities and towing companies and property owners, I just, by nature, had to do it. Simple as that. Parkva has 2 employees right now, myself and my co-founder and CTO, David Miksch. And David and I actually work together. We've known each other for years, but we worked together on one of my other startups, Zaptel.com. And so I knew his capabilities, and it just turned out that he had some background in doing computer vision programming. So it was just a great combination for us to get back together and work again. We recently received some funding, so we do expect to expand the workforce probably through contract labor and consultants, and then eventually bring more people on board. We definitely need the resources on the development side because it's a challenge to keep up with all the new features that are needed to see our vision through. What LifeWorking offers me that I can't find other places is the community here. I've asked folks, hey, I need a marketing company. Who have you used? Or I might say, what attorney have you used? So when you're a small entrepreneur or a small company with just a couple founders, we don't always have those resources. So it's nice to find out what's worked for other people that might be in the same situation. So that's been great. Just the facility itself has been very helpful for us. So my partner comes in, we can go back and whiteboard, set up a video conference with some of our partners. The private office has been great since the pandemic started, the business started to take off more. I've needed that private space because I've been on Zoom calls more often than I was when I first started here and just used the shared space. So it's been nice to adapt to all my needs, whether it be just a desk to use, a private office, or conference space. And again, the resources have been really helpful. Recently became a proud owner of a new little dog, and that dog was wreaking havoc with my business at home. She only barked when there was a telephone call. So I was fortunate enough to find such a nice co-working space like this within walking distance, literally, from my home here in Lake Forest. So it's been a great place for me to get away, get out of the house, not having distractions. What was unique about Parkva, in my mind, and spending a lot of time in the startup ecosystem, is that we really started with a problem first. Yes, I kind of put the technology and the application together, but it wasn't until I really started talking to our customer base to say, hey, we have this real problem. Can you use technology to solve it? I think too many startups have a really neat technology and it looks for a problem, whereas we really started purely on there's a problem that needs to be solved. The financials make complete sense, it's a good ROI, and sometimes I think that entrepreneurs overlook that part of it. And so now, instead of having to search so hard for customers, our challenge is always just get the technology to work as we intend it to work. We also have to deploy the infrastructure out there. Our service doesn't work without cameras, and most of our clients don't have existing camera networks out there that we can leverage, so we have to go out and deploy these systems. And based on where our customers want them deployed and that they don't want large boxy cameras and ancillary equipment, we've had to develop our own product, camera product, that's very small and packed, and it's being debuted out here at Lake Forest Beach. So that's unique about us, is that we actually have to have the software in a box, the two combinations, the software and the hardware, which sometimes I wish I didn't have to have the hardware, but it does complete the system and separates us from most startups. We always were looking forward to the second segment of our business, the first segment being the private party towing and driving compliance there. The second part was working with municipalities, and that's when we learned that the folks that drive from West Lake Forest down to the beach on a hot summer day are frustrated when they get to the beach and find out the parking lot's full. And what if there was a way to let them know in advance before they came down to solve that problem? We said, yeah, sure, the same technology that we're using to identify parking violations and occupancy could certainly be used to tell you how much capacity is the parking lot down there at the North Beach. We also can use computer learning, artificial intelligence, so to speak, to determine when the parking lot might fill up. If it's on the 4th of July and it's a hot sunny day, obviously it may fill up faster than a cold day in September. So we intend to add that type of capacity to the just provide pure information of this is how full the lot is. When we first proposed the solution, we thought we'd just count cars and keep track of what the occupancy was. But it was described to us they had a greater need to know exactly what spots were occupied. So apparently, the folks working the gates said, yeah, we're full, and then someone would walk down and see if there's one spot open, and that cost a lot of angst. So we expanded the system to include 11 cameras now, so that we can detect occupancy at every spot there. So anyone working up on the bluff can tell someone before driving down, yes, there's 2 spots left. I think our success so far has been listening to the customers so we could really develop what they need. I had some preconceived notions going into this, and then once we got more involved with the customers, they steered us in a different direction. It also forced us to develop our own camera as opposed to relying on the industry standard IP cameras. We've been very good at drilling down and delivering the product exactly what the customer needs. It's taken us longer to roll out our solution, so it's come at a cost, but I think we were better served by taking that time and getting it just right. And there's been iterations before that you get out there and get that feedback, but really we haven't even launched commercially yet too, because we're still trying to refine the solution and meet exactly what the customer is looking for. I think that the future of Parkva is beyond just video analytics for solving parking problems. There's just so many different things you can do. Just use your imagination to figure out, if I have this computer vision, I can put these little modules out. I can determine if someone's going to cross the street and there's a car coming. You can provide alerts and notifications. We can tell when, for example, as parking lots are full. We can tell at the end of a trailhead. It might take people miles to drive out to see if there's a place to park out before going on a hike, that hey, the trailhead's full, don't go, take the shuttle bus instead. So just I think, again, imagination is no limit to what you can do with video analytics. So we're doing some interesting things now, or about to do some interesting things with corporate real estate, multi-tenant buildings, where we can implement some video analytics to provide added safety to the parking lot in the building that you don't have when you're not in a controlled campus environment like a corporate headquarters. It's gated entry. So we're excited about expanding beyond parking. Our mission, we just want to be the best video analytics company out there. If we do that, the rest will follow suit.